Watts, you have been playing Remnants.
I have been playing Remnants.
It's Remnants from the Ashes, right?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. So we talked about it last week where we were just like, oh, do we have any, interest in this game and stuff like that? And basically the real low way to explain it is that it's Dark Souls with guns. It's a Souls game with guns. And you totally get that vibe. Like when you see a boss encounter, it's got the kind of fog that you move through, which is
really?
exactly like Dark Souls. When you find a boss, it's got like the big intro with the crazy epic music and then that very Dark Souls-esque red bar of health for the boss. So instantly you can tell that they clearly love Souls games and wanted to make a shooter Souls game, which is really interesting because, how do you take that genre and put it into a place with guns? And I think it is actually quite a special game. Just as soon as I touched the game, the controls, it felt very intuitive. It was really easy to know which button does what. I didn't have to think, oh, damn it, this is my button for my heal. I forgot. It was very intuitive. I knew exactly what I was doing. And the graphics are really great. The fighting is great. It's like a full RPG kitted out game. So you have 3 classes that you can choose from the beginning. And this doesn't like just pigeonhole you into a class, but it starts you out with certain types of weapons and certain types of armor to go with that playstyle. So you have a hunter that's like all about critical hits and long range. You have a kind of mid-range person that has healing and has like rifle. Yeah, the cultist, which gives you a super cool cowboy hat.
Yeah, man, that would.
Hey, man,
100%. I played through the demo, or not the demo, the beginning of the game, because you can't play multiplayer. Watts and I are planning on playing this game tonight together.
Yes.
So I went online and I tried to figure out, okay, what do I need to do so that I don't have to play through some like a beginning section. I got to that point where you can play. And the game feels great right off the bat. Right. The shooting feels amazing. Like the rolling around feels amazing. Like I was really impressed. I only played an hour.
Impressed. But... Yeah, I mean, so I was only going to play a little bit. I may have played like 7 hours, but yeah, I just couldn't stop, right? Because everything feels so good. The hitboxes feel really clean. The roll is very easy to know when your iframes are. I feel like I know when I could take advantage of that roll. Some games I'm like, well, what the heck? Did I not dodge that? Did I not parry that or whatever? This game, the dodging feels really, really, really good. The music is phenomenal, and there's just so many different traits that you can get, so you can spec your character exactly how you want to. When you defeat bosses, you get like a material that you can craft either a piece of armor or a trait or a weapon from that boss, which is really cool. I got a hammer that when you swing it around, it like howls, which is very scary because I constantly think something's attacking me. It's just like, and I'm like, what the wait, what? Oh no, I'm just smashing pots to try and get some scraps.
So my question, I've only played an hour of this game. The levels are procedurally generated, right?
Yes.
Compare that to a Souls game where the levels are clearly like very specifically laid out you're uncovering secrets and shortcuts all the time. How does it feel in comparison to a Souls game having those generated levels?
So there's definitely some moments where I'm like, if this was a Souls game and I went around here, there'd totally be an item or a coin or something when there's not. So I think in terms of like the world design and the level design, it's not going to be as meticulous as a Souls game. Well, they're just phenomenal at all of their environments and stuff anyway. But the strength of the procedurally generated thing is you can actually choose to re-roll your world at any moment you want. And it completely regenerates the whole thing. So you can go into an area
from the beginning again?
No, you don't, unless you change the difficulty. If you change the difficulty, I believe you have to start again, but I haven't changed the difficulty, so I'm not entirely sure. The difficulty is really interesting, actually, because they almost treat their difficulties as New Game Plus. So you have the normal difficulty, which is still really challenging, and that's supposed to be like the setting that the game is meant to be played through. And then you have hard and then nightmare. So it's almost like New Game Plus because you bump up the difficulty and then you generate your world again and you go out there. It's a total different experience, which is really interesting that you can just re-roll and you can find new locations, new items, you can find new shortcuts, you can find all types of new stuff. So it's been really, really, really good. I'm very surprised. I was not expecting the game to feel as smooth or as responsive right away. I was kind of expecting it to be it's going to be a fun RPG Souls-like game, but it's going to be probably a little clunky, but it's just across the board. I really, really like it.
That's
If you do
Remnants of
reroll your
Ashes.
world,
I just see chat asking what game it is. It's
yeah,
Remnants from the Ashes.
from the Ashes. Remnants from the Ashes. Yeah, it's very, very, very good. If you re-roll your stuff, you do get to keep your items and everything. If you re-roll your world, it just changes the things that are generated. Same if you change the difficulty, you keep all your stuff.
And it's only $40 on Steam. It's not a full price game. It's $40 on Steam. I when I was playing it, I got strong feelings of Resident Evil 4, like with the over the shoulder kind of horror aspect of it, but it plays much better. Like it plays like you're rolling around, you have much more control over your camera. But just like wandering around like looking for stuff gave me kind of like a callback to that feeling.
Maybe almost like a preview of what Diablo could maybe be
as a third person game.
Yeah. Like, you know, instead of like being top down, like if it were to evolve a little bit just with perspective, because that's all I'm thinking when you guys are describing, like with being able to re-roll the maps and stuff like that and ramp your difficulty and make it crazy. And that's just what pops in my mind too. And I feel like we're a little due for some Diablo.
Yeah, it doesn't have it doesn't have like a ton of weapons, right? Like all the weapons, there's a certain amount of weapons that are in the game.
Okay.
And like you can find all those or craft all those, but it's not like thousands of weapons like you'd get in Diablo or something like that.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to see how it feels like in multiplayer, because obviously I haven't done that yet. So then I'll have a full opinion of solo. It's been fantastic. It feels just like a Souls-like experience solo. So it'll be interesting to see how it feels in multiplayer. Does it ramp up the difficulty because there's more people? I would assume so. Be interesting to see how that goes. But so far, I think it's a really, really special game. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it does feel really good.